from the very beginning in their own language.
Christians make up 60% of the population, Catholics only 1% of the population. What are the different traditions or faiths that you have in Ethiopia?
Well, you are right, the Christians are still the majority in Ethiopia. The Orthodox Church would be around 44%, the Protestants would be around 18%, the Catholics 1%, as you rightly said. And so it would be around 62% of the population is Christian. Is Christian. And Ethiopia has always remained a Christian country. And this is also, we say, divine protection. Because the other ancient Christian countries, starting from Egypt to Morocco, all northern Africa, where we have the great saints like Saint Augustine and Tertullian and the other one, Cyprian, they are now no more majority Christian country. Ethiopia remained majority Christian country thanks to the protection of God and Our Lady, we say, in Ethiopia. And it was only during the Middle Ages, around the 16th century, where Islam was imposed on Ethiopia as a religion. But at that time, the Ethiopian emperor wrote to the Pope of Rome, saying, I am a Christian emperor, and I need your help. And at that time, the Pope pleaded with the King of Portugal. They sent an army, and together with the Ethiopian army, they chased away the invaders, and Christianity remained as a majority religion.
But it's interesting because Islam at the very beginning was welcomed in the sense that Muhammad was seeking refuge because of the persecution.
Yes.
And Ethiopia was the country that said, we welcome you and we will not persecute you.
Yeah, but things changed during the Middle Ages.
Of course.
But the Arab expansion was there.
I just found it so warm of the Ethiopian heart that they welcomed even this Islam at the very, very beginning.
Yes.
As an offer of refuge.
They did. Yes, I would say one can, because when the Prophet Muhammad was persecuted in Mecca, and he was not sure where to send his followers to be safe, the first country he thought of was Ethiopia. He said, go to Ethiopia, there is a Christian emperor, he will receive you, and stay there until things improve. And they did come to Ethiopia, and they were received very well. There is a place in Ethiopia called Nagash. Even until today, the Muslims have a great respect for that place. There's a great mosque there. And so they stayed. Even in the Quran, it is written that because of this reception of those who were persecuted, who needed help, that in the Quran is written, don't touch the Ethiopians, don't touch the country of the elephants. Because they have been good to us. So there has been traditionally and historically peaceful coexistence between Muslims and Christians in Ethiopia.
Every Christian in Ethiopia, upon their baptism, receive what's called a mateb.
Yes.
What is a mateb, and what is the significance of a mateb?
A mateb is a cord which is worn around the neck. That is given during baptism, and the person carries it all the time. That is a sign that he is Christian. It doesn't matter whether he's practicing or going to church or and so on, or near to a church, but he is a Christian. And whoever sees him, he says he is a Christian, he follows the Christian rules. He obeys God's commandments. And he also obeys the church's commandments, like fasting and so on. So it is an external sign of being a Christian.
Is it also, but I suppose it's more among the Orthodox, that there is a tattoo on the inside of the wrist of the cross?
Yes.
Is that correct? But it's more among the Orthodox, or do Catholics also have this tradition?
Mostly the Orthodox. So you see, the cross is what do you call it? A sign of victory for the Christians, on which Christ destroyed sin and death. So the cross in Ethiopia you find everywhere. on top of the churches, on top of the houses, as you said, in tattoos on the forehead or on the hand, on the dresses of the people, on the writings, in the manuscripts, and also these designs. These are Ethiopian crosses. There are over 200 designs of Ethiopian crosses. And the priests have the cross in their hand for people to kiss and to greet. And just recently, we celebrated the feast of the finding of the true cross, how Queen Helena, the mother of Constantine, founded 3 crosses digging in Jerusalem. And she found out the one on which Jesus was crucified by taking the sick there.
And healing.
And healing, by healing. So that way, the cross has a big place in Ethiopia, and one part of the cross is also found in one of the monasteries in Ethiopia called Gishian Maryam Monastery.
Your Excellency, Ethiopia is not without its crosses, that is, its challenges. It is one of the poorest countries in the world. What challenges confront Ethiopia today?
Well, the big challenge is poverty. And poverty, when I say poverty, would be material poverty. The population has been increasing. We are nearly now around 80 million people. And recurrent drought and famine, joined with conflict, civil war, this has become a big cross on Ethiopia. And Ethiopia has passed great famine ages. This is the cross of Ethiopia. But at the moment there is a willingness to accept this fact that the number one issue in Ethiopia is poverty, and how to overcome it is now what the government is trying to do, what the people are going to do, or trying to do, and what the church wants to overcome. And because of this poverty, many things are linked up. For example, many of our young people, they go to work in the Arab world. They work to go there as domestic workers or as guards or as drivers. And to go there, it is easier, or to facilitate the situation, you will change your Christian name into a Muslim name, or you would dress like a Muslim, whether you are a man or a woman. And then you go that way to look for work. And so for the first time in the history of Ethiopia, poverty is also forcing people to say not to deny, but to give up their Christian heritage. That is how serious poverty is in Ethiopia.
Catholics make up about 1% of the population, but they provide about 90% of the services. How is it that this came about, that the Catholic Church is so active in social services in Ethiopia, despite being such a minority population?
Yes, you are right. The Catholic Church is a minority, about 1%, and does most of the social services.
What would that mean, for example?
That would mean we would have, say, health centers, educational activities, schools, then also social centers like taking care of the homeless, the needy, the HIV/AIDS patients, and so on, like the work of Mother Teresa sisters. That would be the social work. Now, I think the church started looking at the needs. What are the needs in Ethiopia? And the needs are obvious. Related to poverty, then you have the health issue. Say if a child under 5 doesn't get clean water, he will die. So clean water is very important. So we work also on development. And those who pass the age of 5, then we will be guaranteed to live until about 48, 50. That will be the life expectancy in Ethiopia. But to give, soap and some medicine, especially to the children and to the mothers, that gives them life. So the church stands for life. We support that. So the child needs education. The same. We have about more than 255 schools in Ethiopia, mostly in the rural areas. And the cities also we have. And these are catering for the people in need. And
it's an extraordinary confidence on the part of the government that they have confided so much of these activities into your hands.
Yes, because we don't discriminate. The services which the Catholic Church provides are open to all Christians, to all Muslims. The important thing is a human person with human needs. And that is why the Church has been building on this, and even now, with the request of the people and of the government, the Catholic Church is going ahead to start a Catholic university in Addis Abeba, in Ethiopia, and then work together with the regional governments so that the university would be a national one.
Do these social services in a certain way guarantee the place of the Catholic community within Ethiopia? That is, are you granted then more space? Are you granted then, because of the fact that you have provided so many services, is it a support to the faith in Ethiopia?
It is a support to the faith and also a challenge for the Catholics to be witnesses of the social teaching of the Church, to be good neighbors, to respect other people, and also to do more, because the expectation is high on the Church. And here I would like to thank also the contribution of the Universal Church. We work together with the Universal Church and all who work with it. Like, for example, the Church in Need. They support us in many projects we have in all the dioceses, and we do this work thanks to our beneficiaries in Europe and in the States also.
What can the African Church bring to the Universal Church?
I would say its own values. So the Church in Africa has the values of the family. The family is so important. I remember the Holy Father coming to Cameroon. We received him, and he was so happy to see so many Africans dancing and receiving him in a big stadium. And the Archbishop of Yaoundé was saying to him, Your Holiness, in Africa we call the bishops grandfathers, and you are our great-great-grandfather. And he was happy. We have respect for the elders, for the parents, for our elders, our ancestors. We have respect. Also for people around. Every human being has a value and cannot be just measured or quantified with material things. So this value Africa can bring to the world.
Your Excellency, thank you for having been with us today in our program.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today in our program, Where God Weeps. And if you would like to know more information about the Catholics in Ethiopia, or perhaps how you might be able to help this growing church, I would encourage you to look at the contact information at the end of this program, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.